Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So before starting the video, I would request you please subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 5,000 subscribers and we try to upload videos on regular basis. So I would request you kindly subscribe. One more thing that I should say to you that we have a Telegram channel which is completely open. That means anyone can send messages. Whoever is a part of that Telegram group can send messages, and like me and as well as other team members who are senior members can reply to your queries, doubts or any issues if you are having. Okay. So coming to today's topic. So today's topic is how to exactly crack a DevOps interview in technical rounds. Okay. So at this point you might already know there are like several technical rounds happens if you are applying for a good company. Okay. And recently I received a lot of messages over Telegram as well as on my LinkedIn that we are not able to qualify the technical round. Okay. So I have prepared a complete list of 10 points which you should focus while preparing for DevOps interview for technical round. Okay, these are the most important things that you should definitely focus on. So I would request you kindly watch the video till end. Okay. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay. So first thing that comes to my mind when you are going for technical interview is that if you are going as an experienced person, if you want to show that I have worked on DevOps, I have like 3 or 4 years of experience, the first thing that comes to a recruiter's mind is that I should check if the guy has worked on a technical project or basically corporate level project or not. Okay. The reason they ask you this because it's not just to check the technical things about the project, but also if you actually know how to work on a DevOps project. Okay. Because that matters a lot, because in most companies there are so many different teams with a different kind of task. Okay. So if you have already worked on a corporate level project, you would definitely know how exactly work happens and how exactly, like what are the different tasks of like DevOps engineers. Okay. So that is the thing that they try to check. So if you are going as experience or if you want to show that you have worked on DevOps project, my suggestion, you should definitely have a proper experience with corporate project. Okay. And that is one of the highlights of my course, which I am launching in August. Okay. Where I would guide you at this point, like I have worked on like multiple projects. Okay. More than 10 corporate projects I have worked on. Okay. And whatever experience I have, like how work exactly happens, how deployment happens, those kind of things, I can give you an overview which you could use to explain in interview. Okay. So if you want that, you can like make sure to join the Telegram channel, because whatever update is there, I will just put it there. Okay. Okay. So first thing that you should focus on is getting a proper overview, a proper detailed inside out explanation of a corporate level project. Okay. So that you can mention that in your resume. Okay. So if you are already working in a company, if you are having 3 to 4 years experience, that is awesome. You could mention your own project in your resume. That is really good. Okay. If not, you can just like check out my course, which I'll be launching soon, where I'll be guiding you with more than 5 corporate projects, how exactly work happens, how deployment happens, and so on. So, okay. I hope that will help you a lot to get a good grasp on like how work happens. Okay. Okay. So coming to second topic, which have like a very normal, very basic thing, the first thing that you should know is the core concepts. Okay. At this point, there are like so many videos and so many courses out there, but in reality, what I have noticed, not so many people are going with like the core concept of the starting from scratch. Okay. For example, when you work on DevOps, first thing you do is build the application. Okay. By building, I don't mean writing source code of the application, but actually like if you are having a Java project, you package the application to generate the artifact, right? So if you are using Maven to build the project, you should know the full concept of Maven, life cycle of Maven, how exactly Maven works, how exactly it builds the Java based applications, right? So that is the core concept that you should know, not just Java, but whatever kind of application you are working with, whatever kind of application you are using, you should know the core concept from the scratch, how it works, how like building of application works, how scanning of Docker images, how creating, how pushing, how like scanning of Kubernetes cluster. These things matter a lot. Okay. Because if you are learning everything from scratch, they are going to help you a lot and you will learn everything very easily. Okay. So coming to third point, which is hands-on experience. Okay. So if you want to join any company as a DevOps engineer, you should definitely have a good hands-on experience on most of the topics which you are going to mention in your resume. Okay. So if you are mentioning Linux, Git, Jenkins, Maven, I'm not saying just hands-on experience like just a basic that you are able to deploy Hello World program. Okay. hello world program is not going to help you anywhere. That was in college, okay? But in reality, if you are going to apply for jobs and all, you need to have a fully fledged application deployment process. You should have full hands-on experience, okay? For example, like if you watch my 30 days of DevOps videos, you will see I have deployed mostly fully fledged application having front end, back end, database and all, okay? So I would ask you to check out that as well. So in my experience, I would say, see, hello world, deploying hello world and all, that is not so hard. Everyone can do that at this point. But if you want to apply and stand out from other candidates and in reality get a job, you should know how to deploy a fully fledged application, okay? So hands-on experience on build and deployment process of application, managing infrastructure, managing Docker images, Kubernetes cluster and all those things, you should know, okay? That is not just something that I'm saying, that is in reality, you should definitely have a hands-on experience, okay? Okay. Next we have the most common thing about DevOps, because if anyone says DevOps, first thing that comes to your mind is CI/CD pipelines, okay? So a very common question that is being asked in every single interview question is, have you written CI/CD pipelines, okay? So when you mention that I have written, you should know the stages, because they aren't going to make you write the complete pipeline. Maybe basic structure they will ask you to write, but stages you should definitely know. Like for example, like in my general pipelines in my videos that I have is like we check out the source code, we compile your application, we perform we run the test cases, we perform sonar cube analysis, we perform then we build the application using Maven to basically package the application, okay? Then we use OS dependency check to scan the package, or even file system you can scan, okay? Then we push that artifact or the package to Nexus. Then we, using that artifact, we build a Docker image, we create that Docker image, and then we scan that Docker image using Trivy, okay, to find out if any issues there. And then we push that Docker image to Docker Hub repository or any private repository, whichever you are having, okay? And finally, using YAML files and a Docker image, we deploy the application to Kubernetes. And if everything is deployed, then if you want, we can perform penetration testing using OS Zap analysis. And I think that is more than 11 or 12 stages. So these many stages, if you are defining to interviewer, they will understand that this guy knows these many stages because he has literally worked on it, okay? Because if you have not worked on it, then you won't be able to tell these many stages, okay? And in my videos or the course that I'm launching, every single stage I will explain from scratch, so that even if you have no technical experience, you can execute and create pipelines, okay? And if you are confused how Aditya teaches, you can watch any of my like 30 days of videos. You will understand how do I teach, okay? Okay. Coming to next topic, which is IAC. If you are going for DevOps, IAC is something that is in trend, okay? By trend, why I say trend? Because it is a really useful thing, infrastructure as code, which basically what it means, you should be able to manage the infrastructure, building and deployment process through some scripts, okay? In short, in general language, if I say in the layman terms, this is what it means, okay? For example, there are two of the most commonly used tool which used for infrastructure as code, which is Terraform and Ansible, okay? So Terraform we can use to manage our deployment infrastructure, whatever we have created, for creating resources, modifying it and doing changes with it, okay? Then we have Ansible, which we could use for automation of things. For example, automation of build and deployment process of our application that we could do using Ansible, okay? So these two tools, they have scripts, okay? So if you know what those scripts are used for, how they are written, and what different tasks you could perform with those, then you are good to go, okay? See, whatever I am telling you now, do not just ignore it. Try to listen it carefully, and maybe if you want, you can just note it down, because this is what going to help you to get a job and crack a technical interview. In my experience, when I was switching my first company, I was able to crack total 9 interviews, where a few offer letters I got, because some other places I could not negotiate properly for salary, so I did not get the offer letters, but I was able to qualify total 9 interviews, and around that also was done within like 1.5 months of time, okay? So it's not so hard. If you prepare properly and if you do everything right, you will able to crack interview very easily. That's very clearly I'm saying to you, okay? Next we have very common thing that is also one of the most asked questions. If you have given interviews, you might know troubleshooting, okay? So troubleshooting is not, they will two scenarios could happen. they could give you a scenario, okay, if this is happening, how will you fix this issue, or how will you troubleshoot? Okay, so in that case, what you could do, you could like, even if you know, even if you don't know, you should answer that in whatever like ways you could think. Okay. Second thing, they will ask you what kind of troubleshooting you have done. For example, like very common troubleshooting thing is like slowness issue that happens while building a deployment process, that happens in most corporate projects, very common. So when they ask me, I used to mention, okay, this slowness issue I used to fix in this ways, and this is how I used to work with this. Okay, so troubleshooting is very important. See, whatever topics, see, I have literally wrote down all the topics in a page. I'm telling you, these are the only topics that you will need to prepare. Okay, basically these topics are the guidance. Okay, when I was trying to switch my company, I took exactly 10 days. I make notes of whatever I studied, architecture of different tools and technology, and this is like how I studied. This is what I focused on: getting hands-on experience, getting troubleshooting, different like topics on troubleshooting, these kind of things. Okay. So next we have a very interesting thing, which is security, which is now in very much trend. Okay, at this point you might also heard about DevSecOps. Okay, so basically what happens in DevSecOps, we try to like secure our pipeline, secure our build and deployment process, make everything go smoothly along with different security practices. Okay, so for pipelines, we have, like I have already shown you in several of my videos, there are several tools for like securing your pipeline. For example, SonarQube, Trivi, OWASP dependencies check. Then we have Anchor. Then we have very interesting tool for penetration testing, which is OWASP Zap. Okay, so these are like the tools that is used for security purposes. Other than that, like when we are deploying our applications to Kubernetes or like OpenShift or any other server, we should make sure that credentials are stored properly. Okay, and wherever possible, we should focus on using tokens. These are kind of like security best practices that you should definitely know. Okay, because if interviewer asks you what are the security measures that you have taken to secure your pipeline or project deployment process, you should be able to mention these things, these tools, along with certain practices that you are doing. You should be able to mention those. Okay. Next we have very interesting thing, which is behavioral questions. Okay, so these are like scenario based questions. They will give you, for example, they used to give me one of the questions that I remember now is like your pipeline is failing with an error. I think it was 134. I think I don't exactly remember, but the error code was something 134 or 137 something. That exactly like translates to memory out of memory error code. I'm sorry if I'm speaking the code wrong, because I don't remember the code now, but it was a code for memory out of memory error. That means your application is failing because it is not able to get enough memory RAM, you could say, to run the pipeline. Okay, so that is one of the reasons. So these kind of scenarios they could give you. They could give you कि I'm not able to clone the repository. What is the error? Then you could say कि credentials might not be correct, or the repository might be private. So these kind of things like you could mention. Okay, or the URL is wrong. So like behavior question they will ask you, which you need to think and answer. Okay. So next thing that you should do before going for interview is learn or read as many as interview common questions as you could. However, how much you can read, just read it, because common questions helps you a lot to understand basic concepts. Okay, so that you should focus on. Okay. Next we have communication. So when you are giving interviews, be confident. Whatever you say, whatever you answer, be confident. So initial, when I gave my first interview, this was the feedback that I received. Aditya, you are being so much nervous. Okay. So from next round, I was just being trying to be confident at how much I could, and trying to answer. Even if I was answering wrong, no, I was being like just normal, not getting nervous. Okay. So make your communication skills better